Hi, hello, how are you? In my most recent video, I have come to a realization that I haven't actually done a haul video this year. I have bought a couple, 1-2 books here and there throughout the year, but I've been actually pretty good with just focusing on the books that I do own. Naturally, such realization, girl math real quickly, I think I could treat myself to a couple of books because, I've been so good, so why not ruin that? Can't argue with that logic, so here we are today. I fear this video may actually cause more people to unsubscribe rather than actually do well. If you like hearing about the books that are a little bit different, I'll kindly ask you to give all the love you can to this video. We gotta stick together, you and I. We gotta stick together. Thank you. Going to start with the ones that are the most known, and 2 of them are really not like the others, because very known romance, so the intro, it does not apply to that. But you may know from the D20 game, I have recently experienced my first Emily Henry book. I liked it. I didn't love it as much as I maybe anticipated. I think it was mainly how the story wrapped up or bits in between, but I did enjoy the writing, and people kept telling me 2 more titles. One or the other was always someone's favorite of the author's work, so I thought I'll get both and I'll try it again because I did enjoy the writing style. So I have Happy Place and I have Book Lovers, and let me know which one of these is your personal favorite if you have read them, because I want to see which one leans more as a winner to prioritize maybe. Both of them I believe are quite a holiday setting, and this one I think is a second chance romance. It sounds like a couple that has split up don't want to tell their friends that they have split up, so they're pretending to be together for 1 more week while on holiday just to not dampen the mood and not break their friend's heart or whatnot. Normally it's a trope people don't really like, so I'm intrigued to see how this one was done. And then Book Lovers is about a writer and an editor and their arch nemesis, and the writer goes on a holiday and she keeps bumping into the editor and romance. Next one is Just to Show Ya. This is the second book in the special editions. I'm just very slowly trying to get them, even though I haven't read them, but it's Expans is my favorite show, so I want to read the books. I've talked about it. But they have this special edition, and I wanted to grab this before they decide that it's not, kind of get rid of it. I'm taking my sweet time. I probably should hurry a bit more because there's more of these and I'm afraid that they will actually stop doing them, but they're pricey, so I'm spreading them around. But here we go. I mean, I say pricey. I feel like all of the hardbacks are getting around the same price. The center, with a very eye-catching cover, is exploring linguistics of all things, but also seems to be leaning almost in a cult type of exploration where a person is told that, oh, if you just sign up to this program, that completely takes you out of the world, cuts your communication with everyone else, but then by the end of 10 days or a certain short amount of time, you're gonna come out of it knowing every language fluently. And it does take a weird turn when the main character is intrigued and wants to go and try this out, and then we start exploring a lot of things. And I'm assuming it's gonna get quite unhinged. This is the end papers as well. A lot of mouth action. No one clip this, please, and take it out of context. Interrogating the sticky politics of language translation and appropriation with biting specificity, and ultimately asking, what price would you be willing to pay for success? The Bandit Queen. This seems to be about a woman in India who is accused of killing her husband, and she did not, but she doesn't want to say that because it gives her this security of being feared. It is set in rural India, and then once other women of the village find out that she has done this and gotten away with it successfully, they start coming to her with the quest of, hey, can you help me? My husband is abusive. Reluctantly, the main character takes on the quest, the task, and it changes the course of the whole village for the women there. I love that at the back it says at times deeply serious, at times laugh out loud funny, a sobering but hopeful exploration of womanhood, social injustice, and second chances. I feel like I have accidentally focused on picking up a lot of books that deal with very heavy topics, but dark sense of humor kind of way, which is my favorite way of exploring such topics, which is again kind of this social commentary of Black Mirror-esque. I really like that we now have Black Mirror to actually just convey what we mean, because I don't know what we did before. Saying speculative didn't ever really seem to cut it, and now it's so easy. I can understand why people like comparisons, because it helps. If you have read this, I would love your thoughts on it. 2 that seem to be kind of focused on a reality TV show type of scenario. Ooh, that reminds me, I do have an audiobook downloaded that is also about a reality TV show as speculative type of fiction. I don't remember what it is about, but it's this one, just in case you want to know. But we also have Patricia Wants to Cuddle. I really adore this cover. It's so uncomfortable. So obviously you have a lot of like fur-like looking hair, but at the same time the splashes are done in spot UV, which is that glossy bit. Very stunning. One-of-a-kind queer horror comedy for people who watch The Bachelor. So we have the show that is reminiscent of The Bachelor, and our main character goes in there and gets lost in all the challenges, and it's all set in on an island. That's pretty much it. To be honest, the synopsis does not let on much else, which honestly is kind of enough, and I also understand why, because it's not the longest of books, so I feel like you can't really say that much, I guess, without spoiling it. Even with just that, I'm immediately drawn in and I really want to try this. And then we have Girlfriend on Mars, which I think has a hilarious setup. We have a couple, and the girl just had enough. She's just so done with this guy. She just wants out. She just wants to be done with the relationship. But instead, if I understand it right, instead of just breaking up with him simply, she goes on to a reality TV show that takes place on Mars, like on the planet Mars. So she wants to get away from this guy so badly, she literally leaves planet Earth. Also, like this blurb on the back, how did Deborah Willis manage to write about love, grief, corporate greed, climate change, and a reality show that sends two people to Mars with such grace and humor and compassion? One of the most original novels I've read in a long time. It also focuses heavily on truth being dictated by social media and talks a lot about that, which also I remember seeing in quite a few of the synopses here. So social media exploration, climate change is also a big theme currently, I feel. Or maybe it's just me who is picking that up. The hierarchies, exploring human versus android situation, which I love. I think, I could be wrong, it's a very heavy-handed metaphor of these sentient robots basically being created to please the husband, and the husband buys them and then they serve them, for the lack of a better word. Actually, that probably is what it is. Except that Sylvie, the main robot, sentient robot, comes back one day without the memories, but starts questioning everything. Like, is their life outside of the situation? Can they override their hierarchies, the name, which is, I think, is a programming section in their code. Can they have a life outside of this? Blurb says, Sylvie's voice offers a beautiful combination of naivete and wisdom, full of non-human puzzlement, off-kilter observations, and limpid poetry. So I feel like this could be very, very heartbreaking. But it also slightly reminds me of the show The Humans, which has been cancelled like any other good sci-fi show that I am so upset about. This haul has brought me so much happiness because pretty much every book in this is in that specific little sci-fi speculative or horror thriller genre that I personally have such an interest in. However, speaking of watching things, I'm currently in my Derry Girls era. I don't know how this show has evaded me for so long. I mean, it hasn't. I've known of it. I just haven't watched something else, and I finally got to it. And I'm currently totally obsessed, and I don't want to do anything else but watch it. So I'm surprised that I actually got to film this because I could be watching it instead. So, hey. Speaking of social media, I did tell you there's a lot of overlapping themes. This one seems to focus very heavily on our life later on, when even more things are online, even more things are virtual reality because the current reality sucks. It's called Children of the New World. This is, I believe this is a collection of stories. People who cannot conceive having kids online. A robotic brother of an adopted Chinese child that passes away, and then dealing with the grief of something that you believed was as good as real, but also being very aware that technically it wasn't, and how does that affect the human psyches. Very, very interested to look into this. I'm looking at the remaining books and I'm like, I really want to put in something a little bit more cheery, but I don't have anything. Maybe this one, maybe, although probably not. Magical Girl Retires, which, first of all, such goals. Retirement. I don't think we'll ever see it, but we don't have to talk about that in this video. First of all, gorgeous. I believe this is a story inspired by an existing manga, which you can see from the artwork. This is a novella, so it's not a manga. But it focuses on a girl who is just, nearing her 30s, very much lost, very much unhappy and thinking of ending it all. And then a magical girl appears and is looking to... I really couldn't understand properly what that actually was. Interrupted by a clairvoyant magical girl who is on a mission to find the greatest magical girl of all time, and our protagonist just may be that special someone. I don't know how much of that is a metaphor. I do feel like we're gonna talk about, you know, dealing with trauma with consumerism. This feels like it could lean a little bit into Alice in Wonderland type of experience, which could be a hit or could be a miss. You guys know this is not my favorite type of thing, but I also really don't know. So I will get back to you on this one, but I'm excited to see what this is about. Brilliant name. I love the name. This one was very funny when it showed up on my emails notification because it said your order of arms and legs is arriving today, which was very funny out of context when I forgot what it was and then it popped up. Murder, mystery, thriller, horror thing? I think it once again explores motherhood and gender roles and unhappy marriages, as this married woman, once again a little bit depressed by the climate change around her, goes into the woods but then finds a body there. And then she's meant to confront her past. It's all extremely vague. Again, maybe this is just how it is with shorter books, but this is the entirety of the synopsis and it doesn't tell you all that much, but it got my attention. It really was just kind of funny getting that email. Then we have Chlorine, which I have also seen pop up on social media from time to time. This one also, I believe, has like a horror undertone to it. Again, quite vague, other than we have a main character who is a swimmer and they are actually so preoccupied and so fully immersed into the swimming part of their life that they crave chlorine, they crave the pool, they become obsessed with mermaids and actually trying to be one. And I believe everything gets really quite unhinged, but I can't tell you because, again, the synopsis was a little bit vague on that one. And the little line is enthralling and visceral. This is an unforgettable vision of adolescence in all its horrific glory. So, and on the very back, it says, mermaids swim in chlorine, thrive in locker rooms. Mermaids are not born, we are made. So, it's someone's journey on becoming a mermaid. Suspecting less cheery than Little Mermaid. Another short story collection, but all focused about love. It is written by the creator of BoJack Horseman. We're already kind of setting the scene and the tone. And it's called Someone Who Will Love You in All Your Damaged Glory. And it has a little list of like future... This actually is printed like a self-published book. I don't know if it is, but it's printed like one. So I'm not quite sure. I'm just gonna read one of the points. There's a couple of examples of what stories to find, but then, you know, adds up. But a young engaged couple forced to deal with interfering relatives dictating the appropriate number of ritual goat sacrifices for their wedding. I think it's going to be quite satirical and out there, hopefully equally thought-provoking and darkly humorous. We also have 10 minutes 38 seconds in this strange world, which seems to be the amount of time that we're following our main character after she has been murdered. Every minute of that time brings up a new memory of her life, and we're experiencing her story through these post-mortem flashes of her life. So I guess it's a take on life flash before your eyes after you died kind of thing, and I'm anticipating a big punch in the gut with this one. So definitely not a cheery one, but also it sounds quite unique in the way that it's written, and I'm intrigued. If you have happened to read any of these, please let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. I know this one is a little bit different from, I don't know, the popular books, I guess. I'm personally extremely excited for this. This is kind of, I've been low-key, not really, but kind of low-key slumping recently, and I am just excited for every single book on this list, and I think that's what I really needed. A little fresh meat into my shelves, a little sprinkle of the unhinged. But thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. If you are going to try any of these, let me know. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!